we're gonna have this mock course. It's gonna be, the title is gonna be Effective Leadership for Modern Workplace. This is something I just found through ChatGPT. This is a popular e-learning course amongst the corporate world in the US, and we're gonna build it in Storyline. We're gonna use Adobe Illustrator to make modifications, not that one, let me get rid of it. And we're also going to use asset repositories to come up with our designs. All right, so you should have Adobe Illustrator up, you should have Storyline up, and you should have a browser up. And you don't need a script. This is not a script. We're just looking for the title. The first thing I'm gonna do after I created my Storyline, open my Storyline file, you want to make sure you go to the slide size and you want to do 1280 by 720. This is just good standard practice. You can do 1920 by 1080. I don't recommend you do 960 by 540, which is another widescreen. 960 by 540 because it's a little too small and it makes the images a little blurry when the learner views them, or it can get blurry. All right. The number one asset repository that I go to when I do anything, 98% of the time, I'm in freepik.com. And I would say for beginners, I would almost always start with searching for the word PowerPoint in here. This is where I spend majority of my time in the when it comes to development. I'm spending, I would say, a big chunk of my time figuring out what asset or what design to implement into my slides. And I just scroll through and through and through until I find one that I think is good. And for this one, it's going to be corporate related. So I'm going to pick one that looks professional, and then we're going to modify colors based on branding. So let's keep going. Again, majority of your time is going to be spent just scrolling through assets and figuring out what is a good one to use. I'm going to try to pick one that's not too complicated. I did record a video earlier and it got a little too complicated with gradients and layers being locked. So I'm going to try to pick an easier one. So again, scroll through, find one that looks good. And for purposes of this course, I'm gonna pick this one. Okay, this one looks clean, looks modern, and you can change the colors around. We'll change the colors around, and we will go with this style. So I'm gonna download it. If you don't have Freepik Premium, I recommend you do it. Sign up for at least a month till you have your work samples. Here I'm gonna download the AI. Not AI for artificial intelligence, but AI for Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to download it. It's going to download to your downloads folder. I'm going to cut that and I'm going to paste it. And then in the Adobe Illustrator file that you open at the blank canvas, I'm going to open the file that I downloaded and I'm going to start editing. And to help you learn Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to start modifying things and making edits to the colors. Say, hypothetically, your company's branding color was this, okay? Actually, it looks very similar. And we want to make sure the colors match the branding of your client. So what we're going to do is we're going to start changing first. Let's start with the background. I'm gonna hit the selection tool, V, click on it, make sure it's the right one, and we're gonna make colors and adjustments. And this one looks like it has a gradient, so you're gonna look for the gradient tool, or it's G here. Here the gradient tool is here, and you notice that you get this bar here for the two colors. What I usually do is I just double click on one, hit the eyedropper tool, and then I sample the branding color. Now this is not going to be 100% exact because I'm not typing in the actual value, but if you need it to be 100% exact, go ahead and type in the actual value of the branding color that you got. Alright, so I changed one. For the other one, I'm going to double click. This is what I'm going to do since this one doesn't have gradient style colors. I'm going to sample the same one, and this time, right now it just looks like a solid color. I'm gonna double click. Let's go here to the palette and I'm gonna slightly change it to be a little darker. Okay, now there's a slight gradient. It seems like there's a slight gradient. Should be a slight gradient because I changed the color. Yeah, there we go. See, now we have a slight gradient. That's how you change colors for gradients. The text here, see how all of this is grouped right now? What you can do is right click and ungroup. That way we can separate these elements. These texts we're gonna recreate in Storyline anyway, but we can change it here for now to give you the design look and feel. Now we need a little bit of orange. The logo, the client will provide you the logo, so we're not going to modify this. But if we want to change the text, we can double click on the element. It's going to go in to the group, and here you could just change it to code. I'm just putting a random text. Now here it looks like I don't even have the text here. Whatever font that your client provides or tells you to use, go ahead and use that. Here, let's just call it Arial for now. Arial black. Let's say project code. And then to exit out of this grouping, you can just back and you can align this. If you hold shift, it kind of keeps it in place. All right, I think the text is a little too big now. Let's make it smaller. Why isn't it? It should be Arial. Okay. Now the shortcut to go to the selection tool is V. So I'm gonna hit V. Okay. Project code. That looks awfully big. Let's make it smaller. Okay. And then let's see. The title is gonna be, what's our title? Effective leadership for the modern workplace. So we're not gonna put the whole title onto the top. What we can do is separate it. So what we're gonna do is we can use the direct selection. We can use the direct selection or the selection, double click on it, and we can, what's the title? Effective leadership, and then hit the direct selection tool to get out of the typing section. And see you can see that if I click on the selection tool and click this font or text, it clicks both of them. But if I use the direct selection tool and click on this text, it's selecting one of them. So the direct selection tool is like more specific, and you'll have to switch between the two. Now I'm gonna use the direct selection tool to decrease the font here. Effective leadership, and then for the modern workplace, I'm gonna use that on the bottom. I'm gonna use the direct selection tool, and I'm gonna change the font. The way you change the font or to change the color is use the eyedropper tool here. Where is it? I use the shortcut I. I is the shortcut, keyboard shortcut. I change it to orange. Orange. And then go back to the direct selection tool. I mean, this is the direct selection tool. And what is for the modern workplace, okay? You see here that the spacing is really wide. This can be fixed in the characters panel. If you don't see the characters panel, go to window and look for character. It should be, where's character? That's strange. That's strange. Okay, you should be able to find the character. Maybe it's always gonna be here. So character, and the spacing can be adjusted through here. I don't know what this is called. Tracking? Yeah, let's call it tracking. And let's just do maybe a 100. There we go. Storyline is limited to how much you can space it out, but you can see here it already looks decent. I'm going to use the direct selection tool. This one looks, the orange, I don't know if it's contrasting enough. Alright, so we got our title. Maybe we can make it a little bigger for the modern workplace. A little bigger. And on the bottom, when you're utilizing templates, try to adhere to the template style and all of the elements as closely as possible. Here, there's text on the bottom. What I can do is if we used up all the text from the actual script, I can just change this to say eLearning module, okay? And then line it up. You can also align it using the align panel. Align should be here. Align to, this is aligning to the artboard, okay? Now this is an e-learning course and not a PowerPoint. What I like to do is I like to create at least a button. Let's a user click next. So what I'll do is I go to this rectangle. I'm gonna do just a regular rectangle and I'm gonna create a rectangle here. And I'm gonna, it's a little too big. Okay, let's center it. And then I'm gonna do a rounded rectangle. You grab the corner, this little, I don't know what you call that, but you grab that and you pull it. Okay, maybe some more. Let's do that. Now I'm gonna change the color. Let's change it to, I'm gonna hit I. Let's make it orange. There we go. Now let's create a text in here. Let's call it start. If I hit Control Return, it will escape out of the text editing. Let's make that white. I'm gonna hit I. Let's make it white. All right, so we have our cover slide design. In the next video, we are going to import this into Storyline and start building it from there. And I'll see you in video 2. Thanks for watching.